There's something they never told you in school about our solar system. No matter where you are in the world or what time it is, you're about to uncover something extraordinary. We're leaving behind the dusty diagrams and the oversimplified facts. Mercury is hot, Pluto is cold, and stepping into the real story. Because here's the secret. Our solar system isn't just a lineup of planets circling the sun. It's a vast and mysterious neighborhood, strange, beautiful, and still full of secrets that even the brightest scientists struggle to explain. If you find peace in these quiet explorations of space and science, I'd be grateful if you subscribed and left a like. The visuals are here for you, but you can just as easily close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let your imagination drift through the solar winds. What you'll discover might just change the way you think about everything you learned in school. One warning though, this video may be far too interesting to skip, and it might even keep you awake. Before we begin, I'd love to know where you're watching from and what time it is for you. Drop it in the comments below. Now, let's begin our journey. Picture yourself back in that classroom, staring at the poster on the wall. 9 neat spheres arranged in perfect order, each one a different size and color. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and little Pluto at the end. Your teacher points to each one with that wooden pointer, reciting the same facts that have echoed through classrooms for decades. But here's something they never mentioned in those lessons. That orderly diagram was essentially a comfortable fiction, a simplified story we tell because the real solar system is so much stranger, so much more dynamic, that it would have overwhelmed young minds trying to grasp the basics. The truth is, our solar system isn't a cosmic train with planets following predictable tracks around the sun. It's a place of constant motion, endless change, and phenomena so extraordinary they challenge everything we thought we understood about how worlds behave. Let's start with something that will immediately shatter your textbook image. Our entire solar system is racing through space at over 500,000 miles per hour. Not orbiting, not sitting still in some cosmic parking lot, but hurtling through the galaxy like a massive bullet carrying all of us along for the ride. The sun isn't the fixed center of anything except our local gravitational dance. We're passengers on a stellar ship called Sol, flying through an ocean of darkness toward a destination none of us will live to see. Every second, we're thousands of miles farther from where we were a moment ago, following the sun's path around the center of our galaxy. But that's just the beginning of how wrong those classroom diagrams were. Remember how they taught you that planets orbit in perfect circles? Not even close. The orbits are elliptical, yes, but more importantly, they're not fixed highways carved into space. They're dynamic relationships between massive objects that are constantly influencing each other in subtle but profound ways. Take Jupiter. That striped giant you learned was just a big ball of gas. In reality, Jupiter is our solar system's protector, a gravitational guardian that has spent billions of years sweeping up dangerous asteroids and comets that might otherwise have turned Earth into a lifeless, cratered wasteland. Without Jupiter's massive presence acting like a cosmic vacuum cleaner, our planet would have been pummeled into sterility before life had any chance to evolve. That famous red spot you might remember from pictures. It's not just a colorful marking, it's a storm larger than 3 Earths that has been raging continuously for over 3 centuries. A hurricane so vast and violent that it makes every natural disaster in human history look like a gentle summer breeze. And those beautiful rings around Saturn that graced every solar system mobile hanging in classrooms. They're not permanent fixtures. They're made of billions of chunks of ice and rock, some as tiny as pebbles, others as massive as mountains, all locked in an intricate gravitational ballet that creates patterns so complex that mathematicians are still trying to decode them. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. Those rings are constantly changing, constantly reshaping themselves. In cosmic terms, they're as temporary as morning mist. And some scientists now believe they might not even be natural formations. They could be the shattered remains of ancient moons that wandered too close to Saturn's gravitational embrace and were torn apart by forces beyond imagination. Let's talk about Mars for a moment, that red planet your teachers probably described as Earth's smaller, colder neighbor. They might have mentioned it was red because of iron oxide, essentially rust, and perhaps hinted that it once had water. But they didn't tell you that Mars was once remarkably similar to Earth. Billions of years ago, it had a thick atmosphere, flowing rivers, and quite possibly even rain falling from alien skies. Something catastrophic happened to Mars, something so devastating that it stripped away most of its atmosphere and transformed what might have been a thriving world into the frozen desert we observe today. The terrifying part. Whatever happened to Mars could happen to Earth. We're still not entirely sure what caused Mars to lose its protective atmosphere, but the leading theories involve either massive asteroid impacts or the gradual weakening of its magnetic field. Both scenarios represent threats that Earth faces as well. Our planet's magnetic field isn't constant. It varies in strength and occasionally reverses completely. During these reversal periods, which can last thousands of years, Earth becomes more vulnerable to the same atmospheric stripping that may have doomed Mars. Now, let me completely upend your understanding of how many worlds exist in our solar system. Remember the great Pluto debate? How we went from 9 planets to 8 when Pluto got demoted? Well, the real number of worlds in our solar system might be closer to several hundred. Out beyond Neptune, in the frozen reaches of space that your textbooks barely acknowledged, there's an entire population of worlds waiting to be properly recognized. They're called dwarf planets, and they vastly outnumber the traditional planets. Ceres, Eris, Makemake, Haumea, and yes, Pluto. These aren't just oversized space rocks. They're legitimate worlds with their own fascinating characteristics and mysteries. Ceres, nestled in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, contains more fresh water than exists on Earth. Not frozen water, liquid water, possibly in vast underground oceans kept warm by internal heat. There are mysterious bright spots on its surface that still puzzle scientists, possibly salt deposits left behind by ancient water eruptions. Eris, so distant and cold that it takes over 500 Earth years to complete one orbit, is actually more massive than Pluto and has its own moon. Its discovery in 2005 triggered the planetary classification crisis that led to Pluto's reclassification. But Eris represents something even more intriguing, a world so far from the Sun that it receives less light than a candle provides from across a football field. And then there's the possibility that haunts astronomers, Planet 9. Not Pluto, but a genuine massive world that we haven't discovered yet, lurking in the outer darkness. The evidence for its existence comes from the peculiar behavior of objects in the outer solar system, which seem to be clustering in patterns that only make sense if there's a large, unseen gravitational influence shepherding them. Computer models suggest this hypothetical world would be about 10 times more massive than Earth's, orbiting at a distance 50 times farther than Neptune. If it exists, there's a planet in our solar system larger than Earth that we haven't even found yet. A dark giant wandering the cosmic frontier, detectable only through its gravitational fingerprints on smaller worlds. But perhaps the most profound shift in our understanding involves something much closer to home. Our moon. They probably taught you it formed when Earth collided with another planet-sized object early in our solar system's history. That's true, but they likely didn't convey just how violent and catastrophic that collision was, or how incredibly fortunate we are that it happened exactly the way it did. The object that created our moon, which scientists call Theia, was roughly the size of Mars. When it slammed into the early Earth, the impact was so powerful that both worlds were literally melted, creating a massive cloud of molten rock and metal that eventually condensed into the Earth-Moon system we know today. But here's the remarkable part. The angle and speed of that collision had to be absolutely perfect. Too steep, and Theia would have shattered Earth completely. Too shallow, and it would have bounced off, leaving us moonless. The impact had to be precisely calibrated to create a moon that's the perfect size and distance to stabilize Earth's rotation and generate the tidal forces that may have been essential for life's development. Without our moon, Earth would be a radically different world. Our days would be much shorter, probably only 6 to 8 hours long. Our planet would wobble chaotically on its axis, causing extreme climate variations that would make long-term biological evolution nearly impossible. The tides, which scientists believe played a crucial role in helping early life transition from sea to land, would be almost non-existent. That catastrophic collision wasn't just a random cosmic accident. It was the single most important event in the history of life on Earth, and it happened through a series of coincidences so improbable that some scientists wonder if we're living in a universe specifically fine-tuned for our existence. Recent discoveries have also revealed that our moon isn't the dead, airless rock we once imagined. There's water ice at the lunar poles, possibly billions of tons locked away in permanently shadowed craters that haven't seen sunlight for billions of years. Our moon even experiences what scientists call moonquakes, caused not by tectonic activity but by Earth's gravitational pull, flexing and cracking the lunar interior in ways we're only beginning to understand. And here's something that will change how you see every full moon. Our lunar companion is gradually drifting away from Earth. Every year, it moves about 1.5 inches farther from our planet. In the distant future, billions of years from now, the moon will appear much smaller in our sky and total solar eclipses will become impossible. But the most incredible aspect of our moon story is how perfectly it aligns with our sun during eclipses. This isn't just a coincidence that happens occasionally. It's a nearly perfect match that occurs because our moon appears to be exactly the same size as our sun when viewed from Earth's surface. Think about the mathematical precision required for this cosmic coincidence. Our sun is 400 times larger than our moon, but it's also 400 times farther away. This creates an optical illusion so perfect that during a total solar eclipse, the moon blocks out the sun's bright disk while revealing the sun's ethereal outer atmosphere, its corona. This alignment is so remarkably precise that some scientists call it the most beautiful accident in the universe. But as we delve deeper into the hidden nature of our solar system, we might discover that very little of what we observe is truly accidental at all. As we continue this journey through cosmic truths that never made it into your textbooks, prepare yourself for revelations that will transform not just how you see our solar system, but how you understand your place within this vast, interconnected web of worlds, forces, and phenomena that continues to surprise even our most brilliant scientists. The story we're uncovering together is far from over, and the most extraordinary discoveries may still lie ahead, waiting in the data streaming back from distant spacecraft and in the observations of telescopes peering into the cosmic darkness that surrounds our remarkable neighborhood of worlds. Now let me take you somewhere that will completely revolutionize how you think about the possibility of life in our cosmic neighborhood. A place so extraordinary that when scientists first understood what was hiding beneath its surface, they had to rewrite every textbook on astrobiology. I'm talking about Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. In school, they probably showed you a picture of its smooth, icy surface and quickly moved on to something else. Maybe they mentioned it was covered in frozen water and left it at that. But what they didn't tell you is that beneath that pristine white shell lies an ocean containing more liquid water than all of Earth's seas combined. Think about that for a moment. more water than our entire blue planet possesses, hidden away beneath the ice of a world smaller than our own moon. But this isn't just any ocean. This is an alien sea that has existed for billions of years, kept liquid by the immense gravitational forces Europa experiences as it orbits the massive Jupiter. These tidal forces don't just prevent the water from freezing, they create something even more remarkable. As Europa gets stretched and squeezed by Jupiter's gravity, the friction generates heat deep within the moon's rocky core. This heat powers hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, similar to the ones we find in Earth's deepest trenches. Here's where this becomes truly extraordinary. Those hydrothermal vents on Earth are teeming with life. We're not talking about simple bacteria. We're talking about entire ecosystems that exist in complete darkness, deriving energy not from sunlight but from chemical processes. Giant tube worms, ghostly crabs, and microorganisms that thrive in conditions that would instantly kill most surface life. If similar vents exist on Europa's ocean floor, and there's every reason to believe they do, then Europa might harbor alien life forms that have been evolving in isolation for billions of years. Life forms that have never seen sunlight, never breathed oxygen, never experienced anything remotely resembling Earth-like conditions. But Europa isn't the only moon hiding liquid oceans. Enceladus, one of Saturn's smaller moons, has been shooting massive geysers of water and organic compounds into space through cracks in its south polar region. When the Cassini spacecraft flew through these geysers, it detected not just water, but complex organic molecules, the building blocks of life as we understand it. Imagine that. We have moons in our solar system literally spraying the ingredients for life into space. And we discovered this completely by accident while studying something else entirely. Then there's Titan, Saturn's largest moon, which presents possibilities so alien they challenge our fundamental understanding of what life might look like. Titan is the only moon in our solar system with a thick atmosphere, and that atmosphere is constantly raining. But it's not water falling from Titan's orange skies. It's liquid methane and ethane, creating rivers and lakes of hydrocarbons flowing across a landscape that looks eerily similar to Earth. The temperatures on Titan are so cold that water ice becomes as hard as granite, forming the bedrock of this strange world. But in those methane lakes, in that hydrocarbon rain, some scientists believe we might find forms of life so exotic they would completely redefine our understanding of biology itself. These wouldn't be carbon and water-based life forms like everything we know on Earth. They would be methane-based organisms, possibly using entirely different chemistry, life forms that would find Earth's environment as hostile as we would find theirs. Now let me share something that will fundamentally change how you think about the formation and evolution of our solar system. Remember how they taught you that planets formed in their current positions, with small rocky worlds close to the sun and gas giants farther out? That orderly arrangement was never real. Our solar system went through a period of absolute chaos called the Late Heavy Bombardment, and it was so violent and catastrophic that it nearly destroyed everything that had formed up to that point. This wasn't just a few asteroid impacts scattered over time. This was a cosmic demolition derby that lasted for hundreds of millions of years. During this chaotic period, the giant planets didn't stay in their nice, orderly orbits. They migrated. Jupiter moved inward toward the Sun, while Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune scattered outward like cosmic billiard balls knocked around by an invisible player. As they moved, their gravitational influence sent millions of asteroids and comets careening through the inner solar system. The evidence for this cosmic violence is written on every solid surface we can observe. The moon's countless craters, Mars's battered landscape, Mercury's scarred face, they're all testimony to a time when our solar system was essentially a shooting gallery of death and destruction. But here's the truly mind-bending part. Some scientists believe Jupiter's inward migration might have completely destroyed an entire generation of planets that had formed closer to the Sun. Worlds that might have been Earth-like, worlds that might have harbored early forms of life, all swept away by gravitational chaos so vast it left no trace of their existence. We might not be the first attempt at life in our solar system. We might be the second or third or 10th attempt. Previous worlds, previous experiments in complexity and consciousness might have been wiped clean by cosmic forces so overwhelming that they erased all evidence of what came before. This migration theory also explains something that puzzled astronomers for decades. Why Mars is so disappointingly small compared to Earth and Venus. Computer models now suggest that Jupiter's inward journey prevented Mars from accumulating the material it needed to become a full-sized planet. In a very real sense, Jupiter stunted Mars's growth, leaving it as a cosmic runt that never reached its true potential. But Jupiter's influence extends far beyond ancient planetary migration. Right now, as you're listening to these words, Jupiter is protecting Earth from cosmic impacts in ways that are almost impossible to fully comprehend. Jupiter acts like a gravitational shepherd, corralling asteroids and comets that might otherwise find their way into the inner solar system. Its massive gravitational field either captures these dangerous objects entirely or flings them out into interstellar space like a cosmic slingshot. Without Jupiter's protection, Earth would be bombarded by civilization-ending impacts roughly every few million years instead of every few 100 million years. Think about what that means for the development of complex life on our planet. Life requires stability, time to evolve and adapt to changing conditions. If Earth were constantly being sterilized by massive impacts, biological complexity might never have progressed beyond simple microorganisms. We owe our existence not just to perfect conditions on Earth, but to the gravitational protection provided by a gas giant sitting 5 times farther from the Sun than we do. Deep within Jupiter's massive atmosphere, conditions exist that push the very boundaries of what physics allows. At pressures millions of times greater than Earth's surface, hydrogen, the most common element in the universe, behaves in ways that seem to violate everything we thought we understood about matter. Under these crushing conditions, hydrogen becomes metallic. Not hot metal, not compressed metal, but actually metallic hydrogen that conducts electricity like copper wire while remaining fluid like water. This metallic hydrogen ocean might extend for thousands of miles through Jupiter's interior, creating the most powerful magnetic field in our solar system. The energy contained within Jupiter's magnetic field is almost beyond comprehension. If we could somehow harness just a tiny fraction of this energy, it would power human civilization for millions of years. Yet this incredible energy source exists within what appears to be simply a large ball of gas that we can observe with the naked eye on any clear night. But perhaps the most shocking discovery about our solar system challenges our most basic assumptions about the behavior of matter under extreme conditions. Deep within the atmospheres of Neptune and Uranus, it literally rains diamonds. The pressure and temperature conditions in these ice giants are so extreme that carbon atoms are compressed and heated until they crystallize into diamond. These diamonds then fall like glittering rain through thick alien atmospheres, possibly accumulating in vast diamond seas at the planet's cores. We're not talking about small gemstones, we're talking about diamond hailstones the size of marbles, possibly larger, falling through alien skies for thousands of miles before settling into oceans of liquid diamond. The total amount of diamond within these distant worlds might exceed all the carbon that exists on Earth. This discovery has forced scientists to reconsider everything they thought they understood about planetary formation and the behavior of matter under conditions that exist nowhere in our immediate experience. It suggests our solar system contains phenomena so exotic that they exist at the very edge of physical possibility. And these diamond rains aren't rare theoretical events. They're probably happening right now as you listen to these words. Diamond precipitation falling through alien atmospheres in the outer reaches of our solar system. and it has been falling steadily for billions of years. This is the solar system they never taught you about in school. Not a neat, orderly collection of predictable worlds, but a cosmic carnival of wonders so strange they challenge our ability to imagine them. A place where ice can exist as both liquid and solid simultaneously, where moons harbor deeper oceans than our planet, where planets migrate like cosmic nomads, and where diamonds fall like rain from alien skies. Every world we've discovered tells a story more remarkable than any science fiction ever conceived, because unlike fiction, these stories are unfolding right now in the cosmic neighborhood we call home. And we've barely begun to read the opening chapters of these incredible tales that continue to reshape our understanding of what's possible in our universe. As we drift deeper into these cosmic revelations, let me share something that will completely transform how you understand the very nature of space itself. You see, when we look up at the night sky, we naturally assume we're seeing everything as it exists right now, in this moment. But that assumption represents one of the most fundamental misunderstandings about our relationship with the universe. Every photon of light reaching your eyes tonight began its journey at a different point in the past. The light from our sun takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach Earth, which means you're always seeing the sun as it was nearly 8.5 minutes ago. When you observe Jupiter through a telescope, you're looking 33 to 54 minutes into the past, depending on where both planets happen to be in their orbits. This isn't just an interesting curiosity, it's a profound truth about the nature of reality itself. The solar system you think you're observing doesn't actually exist in the present moment. What you see is a collection of historical snapshots, light-speed postcards from different moments in time, all arriving simultaneously to create the illusion of a unified present. But this temporal displacement reveals something even more extraordinary about our cosmic neighborhood. Space isn't the empty void you learned about in school. It's never been empty. It's filled with an invisible ocean of particles and energy that connects every world in our solar system through dynamic, ever-changing relationships. The solar wind, a stream of charged particles flowing outward from our sun, creates a magnetic bubble around our entire solar system called the heliosphere. We're all swimming in this stellar atmosphere, this extended embrace of our star that reaches far beyond the orbit of Pluto. When a solar flare erupts on the sun's surface, that disturbance ripples outward through the solar wind like a stone thrown into a cosmic pond, eventually causing aurora to dance in our polar skies days later. This means everything in our solar system is connected in real time through invisible threads of electromagnetic energy. Mars experiences the same solar storms that affect Earth. Jupiter's massive magnetosphere interacts with the solar wind to create radio emissions we can detect from our planet. Even distant worlds feel the influence of our sun through this pervasive stellar medium. But our solar system is also constantly breathing, exchanging material with the rest of the galaxy. Cosmic rays, high-energy particles from distant stellar explosions and exotic cosmic events rain down on every world in our neighborhood. These particles carry signatures of stellar deaths, black hole encounters, and other violent events occurring thousands of light years away. Some of these cosmic messengers have been traveling for millions of years before reaching our solar system, carrying information about cosmic events that occurred when Earth was populated by entirely different species. When continents were arranged in unrecognizable patterns, every second, thousands of these particles pass through your body, connecting you to the most distant and dramatic events in our galaxy. Now, let me take you to perhaps the most unsettling frontier of solar system science, the discovery of objects that simply don't belong. Our cosmic neighborhood contains rogue worlds, planets that don't orbit any star, wandering through interstellar space in eternal darkness. These aren't science fiction concepts. Recent astronomical surveys have detected what appear to be planet-sized objects drifting through the void between stars, too far from any sun to be gravitationally bound, too large to be ordinary asteroids. These rogue planets were either ejected from their birth solar systems by gravitational violence or somehow formed in isolation in the cold depths of space. Computer models suggest that rogue planets might actually outnumber stars in our galaxy. There could be billions, possibly trillions, of these dark, wandering worlds drifting through cosmic darkness. Some might be frozen Earth-like worlds with their atmospheres collapsed into snow. Others might be massive gas giants still glowing faintly with the heat of their formation. But here's what keeps astronomers awake at night. Some of these rogue planets might pass close enough to our solar system to gravitationally disrupt the orbits of our familiar worlds. A close encounter with a Jupiter-sized wanderer could potentially eject Earth from the solar system, sending our planet tumbling into the cosmic deep where the sun would appear as nothing more than a distant star. This isn't purely theoretical speculation. We've actually observed rogue planets in our cosmic neighborhood, objects with names like WISE J085508307144442 and 5, worlds roughly 12 times more massive than Jupiter, drifting through space only light years from our solar system at speeds exceeding 200,000 miles per hour. The implications are staggering. The stability we take for granted, the predictable orbits that allow us to plan space missions decades in advance, might represent nothing more than a temporary period of gravitational calm. That calm could be shattered by the arrival of a dark wanderer we haven't even detected yet. Meanwhile, the process of planetary formation itself turns out to be far more violent and chaotic than those gentle diagrams in textbooks ever suggested. Planets don't grow slowly and steadily through gradual accretion. They form through catastrophic collisions between moon-sized and planet-sized objects called planetesimals. These impacts are so energetic they literally melt entire worlds, creating massive oceans of molten rock that glow like coals in the cosmic darkness. Earth has been completely molten multiple times in its history, its surface radiating heat into space while debris from massive impacts rained down like hellfire. But here's the most remarkable part. Life survived these catastrophes. Somehow, despite impacts that vaporized oceans and melted continents, biological processes found ways to persist, adapt, and eventually flourish when conditions stabilized. This resilience suggests that life might be far more tenacious and adaptable than we ever imagined. The evidence for this violent birth process is literally beneath your feet. The rocks that make up Earth's crust contain the chemical signatures of these ancient impacts, unusual isotope ratios that can only be explained by the incorporation of extraterrestrial material from asteroid and comet collisions. But let's venture into an even stranger realm of planetary science. In the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, where you might expect to find nothing but scattered space rocks, there exists something far more intriguing. The asteroid belt represents the graveyard of a planet that never was. Computer models of early solar system formation predict there should have been a planet in that region. The raw materials were present, the gravitational conditions seemed right, but instead of coalescing into a single world, the material remained fragmented into thousands of separate chunks. Jupiter's massive gravitational influence prevented planetary formation in that region, stirring up the material so violently that it could never settle into unified accretion. The asteroid belt is essentially a fossil record of planetary formation interrupted, a cosmic what-if that reminds us how different our solar system could have been. But some of the largest asteroids in this failed planet zone harbor secrets that are more remarkable than their origin story. Ceres, the largest object in the asteroid belt and now classified as a dwarf planet, appears to contain vast amounts of water, not just frozen ice, but possibly liquid reservoirs kept warm by internal processes. Recent observations have revealed mysterious bright spots on Ceres' surface that seem to be salt deposits left behind by water that erupted from the interior and then evaporated in the vacuum of space. This suggests Ceres might be geologically active, with water cycles and possibly even conditions suitable for primitive life. Vesta, the second largest asteroid, shows evidence of once having been partially molten, with different types of rock that could only have formed in the presence of liquid magma. Some meteorites found on Earth appear to have originated from Vesta, blasted off its surface by impacts and eventually finding their way to our planet. This means pieces of the asteroid belt are constantly raining down on Earth. Right now, as you listen to these words, fragments from failed worlds are burning up in our atmosphere as shooting stars, creating brief streaks of light that connect us directly to the cosmic construction zone between Mars and Jupiter. The boundary between Earth and the rest of the solar system isn't as clear-cut as it might seem. We're constantly exchanging material with other worlds, participating in a cosmic circulation that has been ongoing for billions of years. Every breath you take might contain atoms that once resided in asteroids, comets, or even other planets. But perhaps the most mysterious region of our solar system lies beyond the orbit of Neptune, in the scattered disk where the most eccentric and unpredictable objects in our cosmic neighborhood reside. These are worlds with orbits so elongated and tilted that they spend most of their time in the cosmic deep, visiting the inner solar system only briefly during their 1,000-year journeys. Eris, one of the most distant dwarf planets, follows an orbit so extreme that its distance from the Sun varies by billions of miles. At its closest approach, it's roughly the same distance as Pluto. At its farthest point, it wanders into regions so cold and dark that our Sun appears as nothing more than an unusually bright star. But Eris isn't alone in its cosmic exile. There are dozens of known objects in the scattered disk and probably thousands more waiting to be discovered. Some have orbital periods measured in millennia, worlds like Sedna that take over 11,000 years to complete one trip around the Sun. When Sedna was last at its closest approach to the Sun, human civilization was just beginning to develop agriculture. The next time it returns to this position, our entire technological civilization might exist only as archaeological curiosities buried beneath geological layers. These distant worlds don't make sense according to our current understanding of how solar systems form. They're too far away, their orbits too extreme to have originated where they are now. Something must have scattered them into these impossible trajectories, but we don't know what. Some scientists believe these objects represent gravitational scars left by passing stars that came close to our solar system billions of years ago. Others think they might be evidence of undiscovered massive planets lurking in the outer darkness, worlds so distant and faint that our telescopes haven't detected them yet. The search for these hypothetical worlds has become one of the most exciting frontiers in astronomy. Every year, researchers discover new objects in the outer solar system, and each discovery adds pieces to a puzzle we're only beginning to understand. What emerges from all these revelations is a picture of our solar system as a place of constant change, ongoing evolution, and hidden connections that link every grain of cosmic dust to forces operating on scales both intimate and cosmic. The familiar worlds of your childhood education represent just the visible peaks of an iceberg of complexity that extends into realms we're still mapping. As we continue this gentle drift through cosmic truths, remember that you're not just learning about distant phenomena. You're discovering the true nature of the cosmic stage on which the entire drama of existence unfolds, including your own remarkable presence as conscious matter contemplating its origins among the stars. The story becomes even more extraordinary when we consider what lies at the very edges of our solar system's influence. There's a boundary out there, a place where our sun's embrace finally weakens and the cold darkness between stars begins. Scientists call it the heliopause, and when our Voyager spacecraft finally reached this cosmic shoreline, they discovered something completely unexpected. The boundary isn't a clean, simple edge like the diagrams might suggest. It's a turbulent, dynamic region filled with magnetic structures and phenomena that no one predicted. There are what researchers describe as magnetic highways that channel cosmic radiation in unexpected directions. There are pockets of heated plasma that shouldn't exist according to our models. There are waves and instabilities that suggest the transition between our solar system and interstellar space is far more active and complex than anyone imagined. Even more intriguing, Voyager has detected what can only be described as sounds in interstellar space. Not sounds in the traditional sense, since sound waves can't travel through vacuum, but electromagnetic oscillations that reveal the space between stars isn't the empty void we once believed it to be. It's structured, active, filled with phenomena that hint at cosmic processes we're only beginning to glimpse. This discovery has profound implications for how we understand our place in the galaxy. Our solar system exists within what scientists call the local interstellar cloud, a region of space with its own unique characteristics that influence everything within our cosmic neighborhoods. We're not floating in empty darkness. We're embedded within a galactic structure that extends far beyond our solar system's boundaries. But let me share something with you that reveals just how interconnected and dynamic our solar neighborhood truly is. Our solar system isn't simply a collection of objects orbiting the sun in isolation. It's a single integrated system where everything influences everything else in ways both obvious and wonderfully subtle. The gravitational field of Jupiter affects the trajectory of every asteroid in the belt. Saturn's magnetic field shapes the behavior of cosmic radiation throughout the outer solar system. The solar wind carries particles and energy to the farthest reaches of our cosmic domain, creating connections that span billions of miles. Yet the relationships go deeper than gravitational or magnetic forces. The very elements that compose your body were created in the nuclear furnaces of stars that exploded billions of years ago. We're not just living within the solar system, we're made from it. We're arrangements of stellar material that have achieved consciousness and are now attempting to understand their own cosmic heritage. Every atom in your body tells a story that spans the history of our solar system. The calcium in your bones was forged in stellar cores under temperatures that dwarf anything we can create on Earth. The iron in your blood was created during the violent death throes of massive stars. The water in your cells has been cycling through our cosmic neighborhood for billions of years, possibly originating in comets from the outer reaches and delivered to our young planet during ancient bombardments. This perspective transforms everything about how we relate to the cosmos. When we study distant worlds and exotic phenomena, we're not examining foreign objects from a detached position. We're investigating different expressions of the same cosmic processes that shaped our own atomic structure. We're matter examining itself, consciousness arising from arrangements of elements that trace their origins to stellar furnaces and planetary formation processes. Consider the profound implications of this realization. You carry within yourself the nuclear legacy of dead stars. Your thoughts arise from electrical patterns conducted by elements created in supernova explosions. Your capacity for wonder depends on chemical processes powered by atoms that have witnessed the birth and death of countless worlds. Now, let me take you to a discovery so recent and revolutionary that it's still reshaping our understanding of what constitutes normal behavior in planetary science. We've learned that some moons in our solar system are more geologically active and dynamic than most planets. Enceladus, Saturn's sixth largest moon, appeared utterly unremarkable until spacecraft revealed something extraordinary. This small, icy world is actively shooting massive geysers of water and organic compounds into space through fractures in its south polar region. These aren't small leaks or occasional events. These are powerful eruptions that launch material hundreds of miles above the moon's surface with impressive regularity. When the Cassini spacecraft flew directly through these geysers and analyzed their composition, it discovered something that sent ripples through the scientific community. The water isn't pure. It contains complex organic molecules, dissolved salts, and other compounds that suggest a rich, chemically active environment beneath Enceladus's frozen shell. Computer models indicate that this small moon harbors a global ocean beneath its icy crust, an alien sea containing more water than one of Earth's Great Lakes. This ocean remains liquid due to tidal heating from Saturn's gravitational influence, the same forces that power volcanic activity elsewhere in the solar system. But unlike the hellish volcanic landscapes we see on other worlds, Enceladus's hidden ocean might represent one of the most promising places to search for life beyond Earth. Those geysers are essentially providing free samples of this subsurface sea, launching into space material that has been in contact with the moon's rocky core, where hydrothermal processes might occur. This discovery has completely revolutionized our understanding of habitability. For generations, scientists focused on what they called the habitable zone, the narrow band around a star where temperatures allow liquid water to exist on a planet's surface. But it turns out some of the most promising habitable environments might exist on moons far outside this traditional zone, kept warm not by stellar radiation but by internal geological processes. Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, Titan, and several other moons throughout the outer solar system appear to harbor subsurface oceans. This means liquid water, the fundamental requirement for life as we understand it, might be far more common than we ever dared imagine. These revelations extend far beyond our own cosmic neighborhood. If moons can maintain habitable environments, even in the frigid outer reaches of solar systems, then potentially life-supporting worlds might exist around countless stars throughout the galaxy in places we never thought to examine. Meanwhile, we've discovered that worlds can undergo complete transformations over cosmic time, becoming something entirely different from their origins. Mars provides the most dramatic example of planetary metamorphosis in our solar system. That cold, dry desert world you see as a reddish point of light wasn't always the frozen wasteland it appears today. Billions of years ago, Mars possessed a thick atmosphere, a robust magnetic field, and liquid water flowing across its surface in rivers and possibly even seas. It might have been more Earth-like than any other world in our solar system, but something catastrophic occurred. Mars's magnetic field weakened and eventually vanished, allowing the solar wind to gradually strip away its protective atmosphere. Without this shield, liquid water on the surface either boiled away into space or froze into underground reservoirs. The planet transformed from a potentially habitable world into the frigid desert we observe today. This transformation raises deeply unsettling questions about planetary stability. Earth's magnetic field isn't constant either. It varies in strength over geological time and occasionally reverses completely, with magnetic north becoming magnetic south. During these reversal periods, which can persist for thousands of years, our planet becomes more vulnerable to the same atmospheric erosion that transformed Mars. While Earth's stronger gravity and more substantial atmosphere provide better protection, the possibility of gradual atmospheric loss remains a long-term concern for our planet's habitability. The same processes that stripped Mars of its life-supporting environment could potentially affect Earth under certain circumstances. Yet Mars continues to surprise us with ongoing activity that suggests it isn't entirely geologically dead. The planet experiences what scientists call Marsquakes, seismic activity indicating its interior remains dynamic. Even more intriguingly, Mars shows seasonal cycles of methane release into its thin atmosphere. Methane breaks down quickly under Martian conditions, so its presence indicates active, ongoing processes occurring right now. These could be geological, involving interactions between rock and subsurface water, or they could be biological, the result of microbial life that has survived in underground refugees since Mars's more hospitable past. The possibility that life might still exist on Mars, hidden in subsurface environments protected from harsh surface conditions, represents one of the most exciting prospects in astrobiology. We might not be alone in our solar system. There could be alien microorganisms thriving beneath our neighboring world, descendants of life forms that evolved when Mars was young, warm, and wet. But perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of our solar system's hidden nature involves the discovery of structures and phenomena that exist at the very boundaries of what physics allows. Deep within Jupiter's massive atmosphere, conditions create forms of matter so exotic they challenge our understanding of how elements behave under extreme pressure. At Jupiter's core, hydrogen, the simplest and most abundant element in the universe, transforms into something that seems almost magical. Under crushing pressures millions of times greater than Earth's surface, hydrogen becomes metallic while remaining fluid. This isn't just compressed gas or superheated steam. This is hydrogen that conducts electricity like copper wire while flowing like water. This metallic hydrogen ocean extends for thousands of miles through Jupiter's interior, generating the most powerful magnetic field in our solar system. The energy contained within this field is almost beyond comprehension. If we could somehow harness just a fraction of it, we could power human civilization for geological ages. Similar exotic conditions exist throughout the outer solar system. Deep within Neptune and Uranus, the combination of extreme pressure and temperature creates what scientists call superionic ice, water that exists simultaneously as solid and liquid, where hydrogen atoms flow freely while oxygen remains locked in crystalline structure. It's matter behaving in ways that push the boundaries of what we consider physically possible. These discoveries force us to acknowledge that our solar system contains phenomena and materials that exist nowhere in our everyday experience. Conditions so extreme they create entirely new phases of matter, new ways for atoms to organize themselves that we're only beginning to understand through computer simulations and theoretical physics. As we drift deeper into these cosmic revelations, each discovery doesn't just add to our catalogue of astronomical facts. It fundamentally expands our conception of what's possible in the universe. We're living in a solar system where reality consistently exceeds imagination, where every new observation reveals layers of complexity and wonder that previous generations never dreamed existed. The familiar worlds of your childhood education represent merely the most visible features of a cosmic landscape that extends into realms of almost incomprehensible strangeness and beauty. And we've barely begun to explore the territories that lie beyond our current understanding, waiting to be discovered by future generations of cosmic explorers who will inherit mysteries we haven't yet learned to ask about. And now, as we continue this gentle drift through cosmic truths, let me share something that will transform how you understand the very nature of time itself within our solar neighborhood. You see, when we think about our solar system, we naturally imagine everything happening in synchronized cosmic time, like a perfectly choreographed dance where all the performers move to the same beat. But the reality is far more fluid, far more mysterious than that comfortable assumption suggests. Time doesn't tick uniformly throughout our solar system. It stretches and compresses depending on where you happen to be and how fast you're moving. On the surface of the Sun, where gravity is 28 times stronger than Earth's, time passes slightly slower than it does in your living room. The difference is minute. We're talking about microseconds over centuries, but it's real, measurable, and it reminds us that even something as fundamental as the passage of moments is subject to cosmic forces beyond our everyday experience. This temporal flexibility affects everything from the precision of spacecraft navigation to the accuracy of atomic clocks aboard satellites. When mission controllers calculate trajectories for probes heading to distant worlds, they must account for these tiny variations in the flow of time itself. The universe, it turns out, doesn't provide us with a single, universal clock. Instead, it offers a symphony of slightly different temporal rhythms playing throughout our cosmic neighborhood. But let me take you somewhere even more extraordinary, to worlds where the very concept of weather becomes something alien and wonderful. When you think of planetary weather, your mind probably conjures images of Earth's familiar patterns: rain falling from clouds, snow drifting through winter air, wind rustling through trees. But the weather systems operating throughout our solar system are so exotic, they challenge everything we understand about atmospheric phenomena. On Venus, those thick yellowish clouds you might remember from textbook photographs aren't made of water vapor. They're composed of concentrated sulfuric acid, creating an atmosphere so corrosive it would dissolve metal in minutes. But here's the truly strange part. It does rain on Venus. Sheets of sulfuric acid precipitation fall from those alien clouds. But the surface temperature is so extreme that the droplets evaporate completely before they can reach the ground. Venus experiences ghost rain, precipitation that exists only in the upper atmosphere, never touching the hellish landscape below. Even more bizarre is Venus's atmospheric behavior. The entire planet experiences what scientists call superrotation, where the atmosphere circles the world faster than the planet itself rotates. Venus takes 243 Earth days to complete one rotation, but its atmosphere races around the planet in just 4 days. Imagine Earth's entire atmospheric envelope spinning independently of the solid planet beneath it, creating winds that reach over 200 miles per hour in the upper atmosphere, while the surface remains eerily calm. Now travel with me to Titan, Saturn's largest moon, where weather systems operate according to an entirely different chemistry textbook. On this distant world, it rains liquid methane from clouds made of hydrocarbons. These aren't brief showers, these are seasonal deluges that can persist for weeks, filling vast lakes with what is essentially liquid natural gas. The methane cycle on Titan mirrors Earth's water cycle in ways that are both familiar and deeply unsettling. Liquid methane evaporates from the surface, rises through the orange-tinted atmosphere, condenses into clouds and falls again as rain. But this is methane we're discussing, the same gas that burns in your kitchen stove, falling like water from alien skies and pooling in lakes that could fuel human civilization for millennia. These methane lakes aren't small puddles. Kraken Mare, the largest known lake on Titan, is bigger than the Caspian Sea and contains more liquid hydrocarbons than all of Earth's oil reserves combined. It's an ocean of natural gas beneath alien skies, with waves of liquid methane lapping against shores of water ice that's as hard as granite in Titan's frigid temperatures. But perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of Titan's weather is what happens during its changing seasons. Titan's year lasts about 29 Earth years, and as the seasons progress, entire lake systems can evaporate and reform in completely different locations. Imagine if the Great Lakes disappeared during winter and materialized on the other side of the continent during summer. That's the scale of atmospheric dynamics operating on this distant moon. These discoveries reveal that the concept of habitability extends far beyond our Earth-centric assumptions. If complex atmospheric systems can operate using methane instead of water, what other forms of chemistry might support life in environments we've never seriously considered? The universe, it seems, is far more creative in its approaches to planetary weather than we ever dared imagine. Deep within the gas giants of our outer solar system, conditions exist that border on the impossible. In Jupiter's interior, hydrogen, the simplest element in the universe, behaves in ways that would have seemed like magic to scientists just decades ago. Under pressures millions of times greater than Earth's surface, hydrogen becomes metallic while remaining liquid. This isn't just compressed gas or superheated plasma. This is hydrogen that conducts electricity like metal while flowing like water. This metallic hydrogen ocean might extend for thousands of miles through Jupiter's core, generating magnetic fields so powerful they create radiation environments that would be lethal to any unprotected visitor. The energy contained within these magnetic phenomena is almost incomprehensible. If we could harness just a fraction of it, we could power human civilization for geological ages. But Jupiter isn't the only world harboring exotic matter. Deep within Neptune and Uranus, computer models suggest conditions so extreme they create supersonic ice, a phase of water where hydrogen atoms behave like a liquid while oxygen atoms remain locked in solid crystalline structure. It's water that's simultaneously solid and liquid, ice that conducts electricity, matter existing in states that push the boundaries of what we consider physically possible. These aren't theoretical curiosities. These conditions exist right now within worlds we can observe through telescopes on clear nights. Our solar system contains forms of matter so exotic they exist nowhere in our everyday experience, created by pressures and temperatures that dwarf anything we can reproduce in terrestrial laboratories. Meanwhile, in those same distant atmospheres, something even more extraordinary is occurring. The extreme conditions within Neptune and Uranus don't just create exotic forms of ice. They literally manufacture diamonds. Carbon atoms compressed and heated under such intense conditions that they crystallize into diamond rain falling through alien skies. We're not discussing small gemstones here. These are diamond hailstones, potentially the size of marbles or larger, cascading through thick atmospheres for thousands of miles before settling into what might be seas of liquid diamond at the planet's cores. The total amount of diamond within these worlds could exceed all the carbon that exists on Earth. This diamond precipitation isn't a rare, theoretical phenomenon. It's probably happening right now as you listen to these words, and it has been falling steadily for billions of years. Our solar system contains weather patterns that would make the crown jewels look like costume jewelry, occurring in atmospheric conditions so alien they challenge our ability to imagine them. But let's venture into something even more unsettling about our solar system's dynamic nature. We've discovered that planetary orbits aren't as stable and predictable as those neat diagrams in textbooks might suggest. Over vast periods of time, gravitational interactions between worlds can cause orbital shifts that fundamentally alter the architecture of our entire cosmic neighborhood. Computer simulations reveal that our solar system undergoes periodic episodes of orbital chaos, occurring roughly every few million years, when the gravitational influence of the giant planets can cause dramatic changes in smaller worlds' paths. These episodes can send asteroids careening into the inner solar system, alter the tilt of planetary rotation axes, and even eject entire worlds from the solar system altogether. We might be living during a period of relative gravitational stability that won't persist forever. The intricate celestial mechanics that maintain Earth's comfortable orbit are more fragile than most people realize. A close encounter with a rogue planet, subtle changes in Jupiter's orbital path, or the gradual evolution of our sun's mass could potentially destabilize our planet's trajectory over geological timescales. This realization adds a haunting dimension to our cosmic perspective. The orderly, predictable solar system of classroom diagrams represents just a temporary snapshot of relationships that are constantly evolving, constantly adjusting to forces that operate over timescales far exceeding human civilization. Perhaps most remarkably, our solar system continues to grow and evolve, still adding new members to its family of worlds. Every year, astronomers discover dozens of new objects in the outer reaches, some large enough to qualify as dwarf planets, others representing entirely new categories of celestial bodies that don't fit existing classification schemes. These discoveries aren't simply expanding our numerical catalogues. They're revealing that the outer territories of our cosmic neighborhood are far more populous and diverse than anyone suspected. There might be hundreds of dwarf planets waiting discovery in the scattered disk and Kuiper belt, each potentially harboring unique characteristics and mysteries that could reshape our understanding of planetary formation. Some newly discovered worlds challenge our basic assumptions about how objects in space can behave. Contact binaries like Arakoth, worlds that appear to be two separate objects that somehow came together and merged, suggest that planetary formation in the outer solar system involved much gentler processes than the violent collisions that shaped the inner worlds. These delicate mergers indicate that the early outer solar system was a remarkably calm environment where objects could approach each other slowly enough to stick together rather than shattering on impact. It's a completely different model of world building than the catastrophic collision scenarios that created the terrestrial planets. Even more intriguing are the objects that don't fit any existing categories. Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar visitor to our solar system, exhibited characteristics that puzzled astronomers and forced them to reconsider their assumptions about what kinds of objects might be wandering between stars. Its elongated shape, unusual reflectivity, and slight acceleration as it moved away from the Sun suggested properties unlike any asteroid or comet previously observed. The discovery of Oumuamua revealed that our solar system is constantly being visited by fragments from other star systems, providing glimpses into how worlds form and evolve around different suns. We're not as isolated as we once believed. We're part of a galactic community where material is continuously exchanged between stellar neighborhoods. But perhaps the most profound implication of all these discoveries is what they reveal about the nature of exploration itself. Despite decades of space missions, despite telescopes capable of peering into the most distant reaches of the universe, we're still making fundamental discoveries about our own cosmic backyard. The solar system isn't a completed puzzle with all pieces in place. It's an active frontier that continues revealing new territories, new phenomena, new questions that challenge our understanding of how planetary systems work and evolve. Every new mission, every fresh observation, every innovative analysis of existing data has the potential to revolutionize our comprehension of our cosmic home. As you contemplate these revelations, remember that you're witnessing one of the most extraordinary periods in human history. For the first time, our species possesses the technology to explore other worlds directly, sending robotic ambassadors throughout the solar system to sample alien atmospheres and analyze the chemistry of distant moons. The information streaming back from these missions isn't merely adding to scientific knowledge. It's fundamentally transforming how we understand our place in the universe. We're discovering that the cosmos is far stranger, more dynamic, and more alive with possibility than our ancestors ever conceived. Every time you glance up at the night sky, you're observing the results of cosmic processes so ancient, so complex, so beautiful that they connect you to mysteries spanning billions of years. You're not simply seeing distant points of light, you're witnessing an ongoing story of discovery that began long before humans existed and will continue long after our species has returned to stardust. The solar system they never taught you in school isn't just more complex than the simplified version you learned as a child. It's more wonderful, more mysterious, more alive with hidden secrets than anyone dared imagine just a few generations ago. And we've only begun reading the opening chapters of this cosmic narrative that continues unfolding around us with each passing moment, each new discovery, each quiet revelation that emerges from the darkness between worlds to illuminate truths we never knew we were searching for. But here's something that will completely redefine how you understand the relationship between the worlds in our cosmic neighborhood. We've discovered that some planets and moons are locked in gravitational relationships so intimate, so precisely choreographed, that they're essentially dancing partners in an eternal cosmic waltz. Take Jupiter's moon Io and its three siblings, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. these four worlds are caught in what scientists call orbital resonance, a gravitational relationship so perfectly timed that for every orbit Io completes around Jupiter, Europa completes exactly half an orbit and Ganymede completes a quarter. It's like cosmic clockwork, with each moon's position precisely coordinated with its neighbors in a dance that has been performing for billions of years. But this isn't just a beautiful astronomical curiosity. This resonance creates the tidal forces that keep Europa's hidden ocean liquid and power Io's volcanic fury. Without this gravitational partnership, Europa might be a frozen, lifeless world, and Io might be just another quiet, crater-pocked moon. The dance itself creates the conditions that make these worlds extraordinary. This revelation has profound implications for how we understand planetary systems. Worlds don't exist in isolation. They're part of interconnected gravitational communities where each member's behavior influences all the others. Change one orbit slightly, and the entire system could reorganize itself in ways we're only beginning to comprehend. Now let me take you to something even more unsettling about our solar system's hidden nature. There are regions of space within our cosmic neighborhood that seem to violate our basic understanding of how matter and energy should behave. I'm talking about the Van Allen radiation belts that surround Earth, invisible zones of trapped charged particles that create an electromagnetic environment so hostile it can destroy unprotected spacecraft. These radiation belts weren't discovered until we started sending satellites into space, and their existence came as a complete shock. Here was a phenomenon that had been affecting Earth for billions of years, shaping our planet's interaction with space weather, and we had no idea it existed until the space age began. But Earth isn't the only world harboring invisible electromagnetic secrets. Jupiter's radiation environment is so intense, it makes Earth's Van Allen belts look gentle by comparison. The space around Jupiter contains radiation levels that would kill an unprotected human in minutes, generated by the planet's incredibly powerful magnetic field interacting with charged particles from the solar wind. These discoveries revealed that space isn't the empty void we once imagined. It's filled with invisible structures, electromagnetic phenomena, and energy fields that create hazardous environments we must navigate when sending spacecraft to explore distant worlds. Every mission to the outer solar system must be designed to survive these invisible gauntlets of radiation and magnetic turbulence. Speaking of invisible phenomena, let me share something that will change how you think about the space between planets. That seemingly empty void is actually filled with something called the zodiacal light, a faint glow created by sunlight reflecting off countless particles of cosmic dust that orbit the sun in a vast disk throughout the inner solar system. On a perfectly clear, dark night, far from city lights, you can actually see this zodiacal light with your naked eye. It appears as a triangular glow extending up from the horizon after sunset or before sunrise. You're literally seeing the architecture of our solar system made visible, the hidden medium through which all the planets move. This cosmic dust isn't just creating pretty glows in the sky, it's constantly raining down on Earth, adding about 40 tons of extraterrestrial material to our planet every single day. Every breath you take contains some of this cosmic dust, particles from asteroids and comets that have traveled across the solar system to become part of Earth's atmosphere and eventually part of you. But perhaps the most mind-bending discovery about our solar system involves something called the Kuiper Cliff, a mysterious boundary in the outer solar system that shouldn't exist according to everything we understand about planetary formation. Beyond Neptune, in the region where we'd expect to find thousands of icy objects gradually thinning out with distance, there's instead an abrupt edge where the population of these objects simply vanishes. It's as if someone drew a line in space and declared that nothing could exist beyond it. This isn't a gradual fade or natural tapering off. This is a sharp, dramatic cliff where objects that should exist according to our models simply don't. and no one knows why. Some scientists believe this cliff might be evidence of a massive gravitational disruption that occurred early in our solar system's history. Perhaps a passing star came close enough to gravitationally strip away everything beyond this boundary, or maybe it's evidence of Planet 9, that hypothetical massive world lurking in the outer darkness, using its gravitational influence to sweep the region clean of smaller objects. The implications are deeply unsettling. If something could carve such a precise boundary in the architecture of our solar system, what does that tell us about the cosmic forces that shaped our neighborhood? What kind of event could be so powerful, so systematic, that it could essentially erase entire populations of worlds from existence? Now let me share something that reveals just how dynamic and ever-changing our cosmic environment truly is. Our solar system is constantly being visited by interstellar objects, chunks of rock, ice and metal that originated around other stars and somehow found their way into our neighborhood. These cosmic wanderers provide glimpses into alien solar systems, carrying with them the chemical signatures of worlds we may never directly observe. Most of these visitors pass through so quickly we don't notice them. They zip through the inner solar system and disappear back into interstellar space before we can study them properly. But occasionally, we get lucky and detect one of these cosmic messengers while it's still within range of our telescopes. Each interstellar visitor tells a story about conditions around other stars, about planetary formation processes that might be similar to or completely different from what occurred in our own solar system. We're essentially receiving free samples from alien worlds, delivered directly to our cosmic doorstep by the gravitational interactions that govern the galaxy. But here's something even more extraordinary about our solar system's place in the cosmic order. We're not just randomly positioned in space. Our entire solar system is embedded within what astronomers call the local bubble, a cavity in the interstellar medium that was carved out by ancient supernova explosions. We're living inside the aftermath of stellar violence that occurred millions of years ago. This local bubble affects everything about our cosmic environment. It influences the density of interstellar material we encounter, the intensity of cosmic radiation that reaches our solar system, and even the behavior of the solar wind at the very edges of our sun's influence. We're not just floating in empty space, we're nested within a structure created by the death throes of massive stars. The discovery of our position within this cosmic cavity has forced scientists to reconsider how typical our solar system might be. We might be living in unusually calm conditions, protected from the harsher radiation and denser material that exists in other regions of the galaxy. This could partially explain why life was able to develop and persist on Earth. We're in a cosmic safe haven, shielded by the bubble created by ancient stellar explosions. But let's venture into something that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about the solar system's stability over time. Recent computer simulations have revealed that planetary orbits can undergo dramatic changes over millions of years through a process called orbital migration. The positions we observe today might not represent the original arrangement of worlds around our Sun. In fact, evidence suggests that Jupiter and Saturn experienced a period called the Grand Tack, where they migrated inward toward the Sun and then reversed course, moving back outward to their current positions. This migration wasn't a gentle drift, it was a cosmic reshuffling that sent asteroids and comets careening throughout the solar system and may have prevented the formation of planets in what is now the asteroid belt. During this chaotic period, the gravitational influence of the migrating giants disrupted the orbits of countless smaller objects, creating the late heavy bombardment that scarred every solid surface in the inner solar system. The evidence is still visible today in the heavily cratered landscapes of the Moon, Mercury, and Mars. This orbital migration might still be occurring, just too slowly for us to notice within human timescales. Over the next few million years, the gravitational interactions between the giant planets could cause subtle changes that accumulate into significant orbital shifts. The solar system of the distant future might look quite different from the one we observe today. Even more unsettling is the possibility that our solar system has experienced close encounters with other stars in the past. As our Sun orbits the center of the galaxy, it occasionally passes through regions of space where stellar densities are higher. During these passages, the gravitational influence of nearby stars could disturb the orbits of objects in our outer solar system. Some scientists believe that periodic close encounters with other stars might explain the timing of major extinction events on Earth. If a passing star disrupted the Oort cloud, sending a shower of comets into the inner solar system, it could trigger impact events massive enough to cause global environmental changes and mass extinctions. This perspective transforms our understanding of Earth's biological history. The rise and fall of species, the great extinction events that punctuate the fossil record, might not be driven purely by terrestrial processes. They could be influenced by cosmic events occurring on galactic scales, reminding us that life on Earth exists within a much larger astronomical context than we usually consider. But perhaps the most profound realization is that we're living during what might be a very special time in our solar system's history. The conditions we observe today, stable planetary orbits, a protective magnetic field around Earth, a sun that provides steady energy output, might represent a temporary period of cosmic calm. Our sun is gradually getting brighter as it ages, which will eventually make Earth uninhabitable even if all other factors remain constant. The planets will continue their slow orbital evolution, potentially destabilizing the gravitational relationships that currently keep our world in its comfortable position. The galaxy itself is evolving, with our solar system moving through different regions of space that have varying properties. In cosmic terms, we might be living during a brief golden age of habitability, a window of time when conditions align perfectly to support complex life on Earth. This realization adds poignancy to our cosmic perspective. We're not just observers of an eternal, unchanging solar system. We're temporary participants in a dynamic system that has a history and will have a very different future. As we drift deeper into these cosmic contemplations, each revelation invites us to expand our conception of what home truly means. We don't just live on Earth, we live within Earth, which exists within the solar system, which travels through the galaxy, which participates in cosmic processes that span billions of years and countless light years of space. Every atom in your body has participated in this vast cosmic story. The elements that make up your cells were forged in stellar cores, scattered by supernova explosions, and incorporated into the molecular clouds that eventually gave birth to our solar system. You're not separate from these cosmic processes. You're their most remarkable achievement. The hidden truths we've explored tonight reveal a solar system that's far more alive, far more interconnected, and far more mysterious than the simple collection of worlds you learned about in school. It's a place where reality consistently exceeds imagination, where every new discovery opens doors to questions we hadn't even learned to ask. And we've only just begun to scratch the surface of these cosmic mysteries. Future generations will inherit a solar system even stranger and more wonderful than the one we've explored together, as new missions reveal phenomena we can't yet imagine and technologies we haven't yet developed allow us to probe deeper into the secrets that surround us. The greatest adventures in solar system exploration may still lie ahead, waiting in the data streams from spacecraft yet to be launched, in the observations of telescopes yet to be built, in the minds of future scientists who will ask questions that haven't yet occurred to us. But tonight, as you prepare to drift into dreams that might carry you across the cosmic distances we've traveled together in imagination, remember that you're not just learning about distant worlds and abstract phenomena. You're discovering the true nature of your cosmic home. the vast and intricate web of relationships that connects every grain of stardust to every moment of conscious awareness. The solar system holds one more profound secret that will forever change how you understand your place in this cosmic dance, and this secret lives within you. You see, the greatest discovery about our solar system isn't hidden in the outer darkness beyond Pluto or buried beneath the ice of distant moons. It's written in the very atoms that make up your body, encoded in the elements flowing through your bloodstream, etched into the molecular structure of every breath you take. Right now, as you listen to these words, you are carrying within yourself the nuclear legacy of stellar explosions that occurred billions of years before our sun even existed. The calcium strengthening your bones was forged in the superheated cores of ancient stars. When those massive suns reached the end of their lives, they exploded with such violence that they briefly outshone entire galaxies, scattering that calcium across interstellar space where it drifted for eons before eventually becoming part of the cosmic cloud that collapsed to form our solar system. Think about the journey those atoms have taken. They survived the birth pangs of our solar system, the chaotic bombardments that shaped the early planets, the gradual cooling and formation of Earth's crust. They dissolved in primordial oceans, cycled through ancient ecosystems, and somehow found their way into the biological processes that eventually led to you. The iron in your blood tells an even more dramatic story. Iron can only be created in the cores of the most massive stars, under temperatures and pressures so extreme they dwarf anything that exists in our solar system today. When those stars died in spectacular supernova explosions, that iron rode the shock waves across interstellar space, carrying within it the energy signature of one of the most powerful events in the universe. Every heartbeat that pumps blood through your veins is powered by atoms born in stellar violence. Every thought that crosses your mind depends on electrical impulses conducted by elements that were scattered across the galaxy by dying stars. You're not just living in the solar system, you are the solar system temporarily arranged into consciousness. The water in your cells has been cycling through our cosmic neighborhood since before Earth had continents. Those water molecules might have originated as ice in comets from the outer reaches, delivered to our young planet during the late heavy bombardment. They might have existed as vapor in the atmospheres of alien worlds, as liquid in the hidden oceans of distant moons, as frost on asteroids drifting through space. Each molecule of water in your body has witnessed the formation of planets, the emergence of life, the rise and fall of countless species. It has fallen as rain on landscapes that no human eyes have ever seen, flowed in rivers on continents that existed before complex life evolved. The water that hydrates your cells carries within it the history of our entire solar system. But here's what makes this story truly extraordinary. You're not just made from solar system material, you're currently participating in its ongoing evolution. Every breath you take exchanges atoms with the atmosphere that connects you to every other living thing on Earth. Every meal you eat incorporates matter that has been cycling through our planet's biosphere for billions of years. When you exhale, you're returning atoms to the environment that will eventually become part of other organisms, other cycles, other stories. You're a temporary eddy in the cosmic flow of matter and energy, a brief arrangement of stellar remnants that has achieved something unprecedented in the known universe: self-awareness. This perspective transforms everything about how we understand our relationship to the cosmos. You're not an observer studying the solar system from the outside. You're a manifestation of it, a way for the universe to examine itself through evolved consciousness. When you look up at the stars, you're not seeing foreign objects in distant space. You're seeing your relatives, your cosmic family, the stellar furnaces that created the very elements that make your existence possible. The curiosity that drives you to wonder about distant worlds, the sense of awe you feel when contemplating cosmic mysteries, the capacity for imagination that lets you picture diamond rain falling through alien skies. These aren't separate from the phenomena you're studying. They're expressions of the universe's potential for self-understanding, matter organized into complexity sufficient to contemplate its own origins. Consider the profound implications of this realization. In a universe where most matter exists as lifeless gas and rock, where most of space is empty and cold and dark, the emergence of consciousness represents something extraordinary. You are awareness arising from cosmic processes, intelligence developing from the same materials that form asteroids and planets and stars. Your thoughts, your dreams, your capacity for wonder are all expressions of the solar system's journey towards self-knowledge. The questions you ask about distant worlds, the fascination you feel when learning about hidden oceans and migrating planets, these are the universe's way of trying to understand itself through the evolved awareness of beings like you. And here's perhaps the most beautiful part of this cosmic story. Your consciousness, while temporary, gives meaning to everything we've discovered tonight. The diamond rains of Neptune, the volcanic fury of Io, the hidden seas of Europa, all of these phenomena existed for billions of years without anyone to appreciate their wonder. But now, through your awareness, the universe has developed the capacity to marvel at its own creativity. You represent something unprecedented in cosmic history, matter that has learned to ask questions about its own nature. The same carbon atoms that form diamond crystals in distant atmospheres have organized themselves into neural networks capable of imagining those very processes. The iron scattered by ancient supernovae has become part of biological systems that can contemplate stellar evolution. This isn't poetry, this is physics. This is the literal truth of your cosmic heritage. You are stardust that has achieved consciousness, a temporary arrangement of solar system materials that can wonder about the forces that created it. The hidden solar system we've explored together tonight, with all its strange weather patterns and exotic chemistry, its migrating worlds and diamond precipitation, has been working for billions of years to create the conditions that made your existence possible. Every cosmic collision, every stellar explosion, every gravitational interaction has contributed to the chain of events that led to this moment, to your awareness, to your capacity to contemplate these very processes. Tomorrow morning, when you see the sunrise painting the sky in familiar colors, remember that you're witnessing more than just the start of another day. You're observing the continuation of a cosmic story that began with the birth of our solar system and will continue long after our species returns to the stellar materials from which we came. The light touching your face traveled 8 minutes and 20 seconds from the sun's core, where hydrogen atoms fuse into helium in nuclear reactions that power not just our star but the entire dance of worlds around it. That same fusion process created many of the elements in your body during earlier generations of stellar evolution. You're both author and character in this cosmic narrative, observer and participant, questioner and answer. The hidden truths about our solar system aren't just facts to learn, they're revelations about your own nature, your own incredible journey from stellar nursery to conscious being capable of wonder. As you drift towards sleep tonight, carry with you this profound understanding. You are not separate from the cosmic forces that shaped planets and moons and asteroids. You are those forces, temporarily organized into a form capable of contemplating its own existence. Every atom in your body has been on an epic journey through space and time, and now it's part of the most remarkable phenomenon we know of, a conscious mind exploring the universe that created it. The solar system they didn't teach you in school isn't just stranger than you imagined. It's more personal, more intimate, more fundamentally connected to your existence than anyone ever told you. You don't just live within it, you are it, awakened to its own magnificence, dreaming of distant worlds with elements that once danced in the hearts of dying stars. Sweet dreams, fellow traveler, in this extraordinary cosmic story. May your rest be peaceful, knowing that you carry within yourself the history of our entire solar neighborhood. and that tomorrow's discoveries await minds like yours, minds made of stardust, powered by stellar fusion, and capable of finding wonder in the vast, beautiful, ever-unfolding mystery we call home. The greatest adventure isn't out there among the planets and moons. It's right here, right now, in the remarkable fact that the universe has evolved conscious beings capable of appreciating its hidden wonders. And that consciousness, that capacity for awe and understanding, is the most extraordinary discovery of all. Rest well in this knowledge and know that every dawn brings new revelations about the cosmic home we share with worlds beyond imagination. The story continues with each heartbeat, each breath, each moment of wonder at the infinite mysteries that surround us. But as you settle into that gentle space between waking and dreaming, let me share one final secret that brings everything we've discovered tonight into perfect focus. You see, the most profound truth about our solar system isn't written in the orbital mechanics of distant worlds or hidden in the exotic chemistry of alien atmospheres. It's encoded in something far more intimate and immediate. Right now, as your breathing slows and your mind begins to drift, you're participating in the same fundamental processes that govern every world we've explored together. The oxygen flowing into your lungs was created by stellar fusion in the cores of ancient suns. The carbon dioxide you exhale will become part of Earth's atmospheric circulation, eventually cycling through plant life that converts it back into the oxygen that sustains all terrestrial life. You're not just observing the cosmic dance we've described, you're performing it. Every biological process in your body follows the same physical laws that shape planetary atmospheres and drive the weather systems of distant worlds. The electrical impulses firing through your neurons obey the same electromagnetic principles that create the aurora displays around gas giants and generate the magnetic fields protecting entire worlds. Even as you drift towards sleep, your body maintains its own internal rhythms that mirror the cosmic cycles we've explored. Your circadian clock responds to the same solar radiation that drives atmospheric dynamics on Venus and Mars. Your heartbeat follows patterns that echo the orbital resonances binding Jupiter's moons in their eternal gravitational waltz. The temperature regulation that keeps your body functioning operates on principles similar to those that determine whether a world can maintain liquid oceans beneath its surface. The chemical reactions powering your thoughts utilize the same elemental interactions that create the exotic materials in the cores of giant planets. This isn't metaphor or poetic license. This is the literal truth of your cosmic connection. You are a living embodiment of solar system physics, a biological expression of the same forces that sculpt planetary rings and launch geysers from icy moons into space. The boundary between you and the cosmos isn't as clear as it might seem. You're part of a seamless continuum of matter and energy that extends from the quantum fluctuations in your cells to the gravitational interactions between galaxies. As your consciousness begins to fade into the restorative darkness of sleep, consider this remarkable fact. The dreams you're about to experience will unfold in neural networks constructed from elements forged in stellar cores billions of years ago. The synapses that fire as you dream are made of the same calcium that forms the rocky mantles of terrestrial worlds, the same iron that creates the metallic cores giving planets their magnetic personalities. Your sleeping mind will process the day's experiences using biological machinery built from cosmic recycling programs that have been operating since before our solar system existed. The memories consolidating as you sleep are stored in molecular structures composed of stardust arranged into patterns complex enough to hold thoughts, emotions, and images of worlds you'll never visit except in imagination. But here's something that adds wonder to even the simple act of rest. Sleep itself might be evolution's response to cosmic rhythms. The circadian cycles that make you feel drowsy as darkness falls evolved in response to our planet's rotation. which was itself shaped by the same gravitational interactions that formed our moon and stabilized Earth's axial tilt. The dreams you're about to enter represent one of the universe's most extraordinary achievements. Matter organized into sufficient complexity that it can create internal worlds as rich and detailed as the external cosmos we've explored tonight. While you sleep, your brain will construct entire landscapes, populate them with characters, and unfold narratives that exist nowhere except in the electrical patterns dancing through neural pathways made of recycled stellar material. In a very real sense, your dreams tonight will be the universe dreaming about itself. The same cosmic forces that create diamond rain in alien atmospheres and drive the volcanic fury of distant moons will manifest as the electrical activity generating your dream experiences. You'll visit imaginary worlds using a consciousness built from atoms that have already visited real worlds across billions of years of cosmic wandering. This perspective transforms even sleep into something profound and beautiful. You're not just resting, you're participating in the universe's ongoing experiment with consciousness, matter's exploration of its own possibilities. The fact that stellar remnants can organize themselves into patterns capable of dreaming represents a kind of cosmic victory, proof that the universe's journey toward complexity and awareness has achieved something genuinely extraordinary. As you drift deeper into that peaceful realm where conscious thought dissolves into restorative quiet, remember that you carry within yourself not just the physical elements of distant stars, but their creative potential. The same nuclear processes that power stellar fusion created the elements that power your metabolism. The same electromagnetic forces that shape planetary magnetospheres guide the nerve impulses that will orchestrate your dreams. You are the solar system's way of experiencing wonder at its own magnificence. Through your consciousness, cosmic dust has learned to contemplate cosmic processes. Through your imagination, matter has developed the ability to envision forms of beauty that transcend physical reality. Through your capacity for awe, the universe has created a way to appreciate its own extraordinary creativity. The hidden truths we've discovered tonight about diamond precipitation and migrating worlds, about exotic forms of matter and impossible weather systems, become meaningful because there exist minds like yours to recognize their significance. Without consciousness to witness and appreciate these phenomena, they would remain just mechanical processes playing out in empty space. But consciousness changes everything. It transforms mechanical processes into stories, converts physical phenomena into sources of wonder, elevates cosmic accidents into profound mysteries worthy of contemplation. You don't just observe the universe, you give it meaning through the simple act of paying attention to its marvels. Tomorrow morning, when you wake refreshed from dreams that unfolded in neural networks built from ancient stardust, you'll open eyes that are themselves expressions of cosmic evolution. The photons entering your retinas will have traveled across space and time to deliver information about a world still spinning through the void, still participating in the gravitational choreography we've explored together. The coffee you brew will be made from water molecules that have been cycling through our solar system for billions of years. The breakfast you eat will provide energy originally captured from stellar fusion by photosynthetic processes that mirror the nuclear reactions powering our sun. Even the most mundane moments of your day will be suffused with cosmic significance once you recognize the stellar heritage of everything around you. And when you look up at the night sky in days to come, you'll no longer see just distant points of light against darkness. You'll see family members, cosmic relatives, the stellar furnaces that created the elements making your existence possible. You'll recognize that the same physical laws governing your heartbeat also orchestrate the orbital dance of planets, that the same electromagnetic forces conducting your thoughts also generate the aurora displays around distant worlds. The solar system they didn't teach you in school has revealed itself to be something far more personal and intimate than a collection of distant objects. It's your extended body, your cosmic ancestry, your fundamental nature expressed on scales both infinitesimal and immense. Every breath connects you to atmospheric processes on other worlds. Every heartbeat echoes with rhythms established by gravitational interactions spanning billions of miles. You are not a separate observer contemplating an alien cosmos. You are the cosmos contemplating itself through the evolved awareness that emerges when stellar materials achieve sufficient complexity to support conscious thought. The wonder you feel at diamond rain and hidden oceans isn't separate from those phenomena. It's their natural culmination, the universe's way of appreciating its own creativity. As sleep finally claims you and carries you into that realm where stardust dreams of impossible worlds and neural electricity paints visions across the darkness behind closed eyes, rest peacefully in the knowledge that you are participating in the greatest story ever told. The universe's journey from simplicity to complexity, from unconscious matter to conscious wonder. The hidden solar system we've explored together tonight will continue its ancient dance while you sleep. Worlds will turn on their axes, moons will orbit their planets, particles of solar wind will stream past Earth's magnetosphere, and in atmospheres billions of miles away, diamonds will continue falling through alien skies like cosmic snow. But now these processes have witnesses, minds capable of appreciating their beauty and recognizing their significance. Through your awareness, the universe has developed the capacity to marvel at diamond rain, to wonder about hidden oceans, to imagine the songs sung by planetary rings in the darkness between worlds. Sweet dreams, cosmic citizen. May your rest be filled with the peace that comes from knowing your place in the grand story. And may you wake tomorrow with eyes newly opened to the hidden wonders that surround us always, waiting patiently for conscious minds to notice their quiet miracles and give them meaning through the simple gift of attention. The universe is dreaming through you tonight, and in your dreams perhaps you'll visit worlds where impossible weather creates impossible beauty, where the laws of physics paint masterpieces across alien skies, and where every grain of cosmic dust carries within it the potential for consciousness, wonder, and the profound joy of recognizing home in the vast, beautiful, endlessly creative cosmos we share. Sleep well, fellow stardust. The greatest adventure continues with every breath, every dream, every moment of awareness arising from matter that learned to contemplate its own cosmic heritage. And in that contemplation, the hidden solar system reveals its greatest secret, that consciousness itself is the most extraordinary phenomenon of all, the universe's way of knowing and celebrating its own magnificent complexity. Rest now in the knowledge that you are both observer and participant in this cosmic story, both questioner and answer, both the dreamer and the dream. Tomorrow's revelations await, but tonight, simply be what you are, a temporary arrangement of stellar materials that has achieved the remarkable ability to find wonder in the darkness, meaning in the motion of worlds, and beauty in the hidden truths that transform our understanding of home. The morning light that will eventually wake you carries within it more than just the energy to start another day. Each photon streaming through your window began its journey in the nuclear furnace at our sun's core, where hydrogen atoms fuse together under pressures and temperatures so extreme they dwarf anything that exists on Earth. But here's something remarkable about that process. It takes those photons an average of 100,000 years to work their way from the sun's core to its surface, bouncing between atoms in a random walk through stellar plasma before finally escaping into space for their 8-minute sprint to your eyes. This means the sunlight touching your face tomorrow morning began its journey before human civilization existed. Those photons have been trapped inside our star, ricocheting through layers of stellar material while entire species evolved and went extinct on Earth. When they finally break free from the sun's surface and race toward our planet, they're carrying energy that's older than recorded history, yet as fresh as the moment they arrive. But our sun harbors secrets that would have astonished the astronomers who first turned telescopes skyward. Deep within its core, the temperature reaches 15 million degrees Celsius, hot enough to strip atoms of their electrons and create a state of matter called plasma. In this hellish environment, the very fabric of space and time becomes warped by the intense gravitational field, causing effects that Einstein predicted but that still challenge our understanding of reality. The sun's magnetic field is equally extraordinary, generating phenomena that extend far beyond what we can observe in visible light. Massive loops of magnetized plasma arc through the solar atmosphere, some large enough to swallow dozens of Earths. When these magnetic field lines become tangled and suddenly reconnect, they release energy equivalent to billions of nuclear weapons, sending charged particles streaming across the solar system at millions of miles per hour. These solar storms don't just create pretty aurora displays when they reach Earth, they represent a constant reminder of how dynamic and potentially dangerous our seemingly stable sun can be. During particularly intense solar events, the electromagnetic pulse can knock out satellites, disrupt GPS navigation, and even cause power grids to fail across entire continents. We're living on a planet that orbits what is essentially a gigantic fusion bomb, one that occasionally hiccups in ways that can affect our entire technological civilization. Now let me take you beyond our own stellar neighborhood to something that will completely reshape your understanding of what exists in the space between solar systems. For most of human history, we assumed that other stars might have planets, but we had no way to prove it. The first confirmed exoplanet orbiting a sun-like star wasn't discovered until 1995, and since then, we've found thousands of worlds orbiting distant stars. But these alien worlds have shattered every assumption we held about how planetary systems should behave. We've discovered planets made almost entirely of diamond, worlds where the surface temperature exceeds 4,000 degrees Celsius, and gas giants that orbit their stars so closely they complete a full year in less than an Earth day. Some planets are tidally locked to their suns, with one side in permanent daylight and the other in eternal darkness, creating temperature differences so extreme that molten glass might rain from the sky. Perhaps most unsettling are the rogue planets we discussed earlier, worlds that have been ejected from their birth solar systems and now wander the galaxy in perpetual darkness. Recent estimates suggest these orphaned worlds might outnumber stars by a factor of thousands. Right now, invisible to our telescopes, billions of dark planets might be drifting through the space between stars, some possibly harboring life forms that have learned to survive without sunlight, drawing energy from radioactive decay or residual heat from their planetary cores. These discoveries force us to confront a humbling truth. Our solar system, for all its exotic phenomena and hidden wonders, might be remarkably ordinary compared to the cosmic carnival of worlds that populate our galaxy. We live in a universe where the impossible is routine, where planets exist in configurations so alien that science fiction writers couldn't have imagined them. But let's return to our own cosmic neighborhood for something that will change how you think about the very nature of space and time. Einstein showed us that massive objects warp the fabric of space-time, creating what we experience as gravity. But within our solar system, this warping creates effects so subtle yet so profound that they influence everything from the orbit of Mercury to the behavior of spacecraft exploring distant worlds. Time itself passes differently depending on where you are in our solar system's gravitational field. On the surface of the Sun, where gravity is nearly 30 times stronger than Earth's, time moves slightly slower than it does in your living room. The difference is minuscule. We're talking about microseconds over centuries, but it's real, measurable, and it reminds us that even something as fundamental as the passage of time is subject to the cosmic forces that shape our neighborhood. This temporal flexibility affects the precision of every space mission we launch. When engineers calculate trajectories for spacecraft heading to Mars or Jupiter, they must account for these tiny variations in the flow of time itself. The universe doesn't provide a single universal clock. Instead, it offers a symphony of slightly different temporal rhythms playing throughout our solar system. But perhaps the most mind-bending aspect of our cosmic environment involves something called frame dragging, a prediction of Einstein's general relativity that was only confirmed through satellite measurements in recent decades. Massive rotating objects actually drag space-time along with them as they spin, creating a cosmic whirlpool effect that influences the motion of everything in their vicinity. Earth's rotation creates a frame-dragging effect so subtle that it shifts the orbit of satellites by mere centimeters over years of operation. But around rapidly spinning black holes or neutron stars, frame dragging becomes so extreme that it would be impossible to remain stationary relative to distant stars. You'd be swept along in the rotating space-time like a leaf caught in a cosmic whirlpool. These revelations transform our understanding of motion itself. We're not just orbiting the sun through empty space. We're following curved paths through a four-dimensional fabric that's constantly being twisted and warped by every massive object in our vicinity. The very concepts of straight line and shortest distance become meaningless in a universe where space and time are woven together into a dynamic, ever-changing geometry. Now let me share something that will completely redefine how you understand the relationship between life and the cosmos. We've always assumed that life requires very specific conditions: liquid water, moderate temperatures, protection from radiation. But recent discoveries suggest that life might be far more adaptable and tenacious than we ever imagined. Deep within Earth's crust, miles below the surface, scientists have discovered thriving ecosystems of microorganisms that derive energy not from sunlight, but from radioactive decay of elements in the rocks around them. These organisms have been isolated from the surface world for millions of years, yet they continue to thrive in conditions that would sterilize most known life forms. If life can exist in such extreme environments on Earth, what might be possible on other worlds? Perhaps the subsurface oceans of Europa and Enceladus aren't just interesting scientific curiosities. They might be teeming with alien life forms that have evolved in ways we can barely imagine. Life forms that have never seen sunlight, never breathed oxygen, never experienced anything resembling Earth-like conditions. But the implications extend even further. If life can survive on radioactive decay, then even rogue planets drifting in the darkness between stars might harbor living organisms. Worlds that have been ejected from their solar systems and now wander in eternal night might still maintain warm cores heated by radioactive elements, creating pockets of habitability that could persist for billions of years. This expands the potential for life throughout the galaxy by orders of magnitude. Instead of focusing solely on planets in the narrow habitable zones around stars, we might need to consider that life could exist almost anywhere. There's liquid water and a source of chemical energy, conditions that might be common throughout the cosmos. As we near the end of our journey through these hidden truths, let me share one final revelation that brings everything into perfect focus. The most extraordinary discovery about our solar system isn't any single phenomenon or exotic world. It's the recognition that consciousness itself represents the universe's most remarkable achievement. In a cosmos filled with lifeless gas and rock, where most matter exists in states of simple chaos or mechanical order, the emergence of awareness represents something genuinely unprecedented. Through your consciousness, the universe has developed the capacity to contemplate its own nature, to recognize beauty in cosmic processes, to find meaning in the dance of worlds around distant stars. You are made of elements forged in stellar cores billions of years ago, yet you can think thoughts that have never been thought before. You are composed of the same materials that form asteroids and planets, Yet you can experience wonder at the very processes that created those materials. You represent a temporary arrangement of cosmic dust that has achieved something no other known phenomenon has accomplished: the ability to appreciate its own existence. The hidden solar system we've explored together tonight reveals itself to be more than a collection of worlds and phenomena. It's a story of matter learning to contemplate itself, of cosmic processes developing the capacity for wonder, of the universe gradually awakening to its own extraordinary nature through the evolved consciousness of beings like you. As you drift towards sleep, surrounded by the quiet knowledge of these cosmic truths, remember that your dreams tonight will unfold in neural networks constructed from ancient stardust. The same elements that create diamond rain in alien atmospheres will orchestrate the electrical patterns that generate your dream experiences. You'll visit imaginary worlds using a consciousness built from atoms that have already journeyed across real worlds throughout billions of years of cosmic evolution. Sleep peacefully, knowing that you are both the universe's greatest mystery and its most beautiful solution. Matter organized into sufficient complexity to wonder about its own origins, to find beauty in distant worlds, and to recognize home in the vast, interconnected web of forces and phenomena that we call the cosmos. The solar system they never taught you in school continues its ancient dance while you rest, but now it has witnesses, minds capable of appreciating its hidden wonders and giving meaning to its endless creativity through the simple gift of conscious attention. And in that recognition, the greatest secret of all is revealed: that awareness itself is the most extraordinary phenomenon in the universe, the cosmos discovering its own capacity for beauty, wonder, and the profound joy of being awake to its own magnificent complexity. Sweet dreams, fellow traveler in this extraordinary cosmic story. Tomorrow brings new mysteries, new discoveries, and new opportunities to marvel at the universe that made us and of which we remain forever part. The morning will arrive with photons that began their journey in nuclear furnaces operating at temperatures that would vaporize any substance we know. But those same fusion reactions that power our sun are occurring right now in stellar cores throughout our galaxy, creating the elements that will someday become part of worlds we haven't yet discovered. Perhaps even conscious beings we'll never meet. And here's something that will stay with you long after you've forgotten the specific details of orbital mechanics and atmospheric chemistry. The act of learning about these cosmic phenomena changes you in ways that mirror the processes themselves. Each new understanding reorganizes the neural pathways in your brain, creating connections that didn't exist before you began this journey tonight. Your neurons fire in patterns that reflect the gravitational relationships between worlds. The electrical impulses carrying thoughts about distant moons follow pathways built from the same carbon that forms diamond crystals in alien atmospheres. Learning itself becomes a form of cosmic evolution, matter developing new ways to process information about its own nature. This transformation continues even as you sleep. Your brain will consolidate tonight's discoveries into long-term memories, strengthening synaptic connections that will carry these revelations forward into tomorrow's consciousness. The same biochemical processes that allow you to remember diamond rain and hidden oceans operate according to principles that govern stellar evolution and planetary formation. In the deepest levels of sleep, when conscious thought dissolves entirely, your brain performs maintenance routines that mirror the cosmic recycling programs operating throughout our solar system. Unnecessary neural connections are pruned away like material swept from planetary rings. Important memories are reinforced through chemical processes that echo the accretion mechanisms building worlds from cosmic dust. And so, dear fellow traveler in this vast cosmic story, we reach the gentle end of our journey through the hidden wonders that surround us. Tonight, we've discovered that our solar system isn't the orderly collection of worlds from those childhood posters, but something far more magnificent, a dynamic theater of diamond rain and migrating planets, of hidden oceans and volcanic moons, all connected through invisible threads of gravity and time. Remember that you carry these cosmic truths within you now, written in the very atoms that make your thoughts possible. Rest well, knowing that tomorrow's sunrise will bring light that began its journey in stellar fire, and that you, made of ancient stardust, are the universe's way of marveling at its own beautiful, impossible creativity. Sweet dreams, and thank you for drifting through the cosmos with me tonight. Boring Science Channel here. You can start another video if you are still awake. With me tonight. Boring Science Channel here. You can start another video if you are still awake.